WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque is reportedly set to headline the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. PCO explains the reason he smashed the Digital Media Championship after exiting TNA Wrestling. We have the ratings for AEW Collision Homecoming this past weekend. MVP gives an update on his AEW in-ring future. Chris Jericho addresses the AEW status of Britt Baker. Could Trish Stratus be in line for an in-ring return in the Women's Royal Rumble match this weekend? NXT could be set for a special MSG episode very soon. John Moxley gives the reason as to why the AEW World Championship is being carried around in a briefcase. We've got an update on the AEW status of Rush and Draliso, and a Jay White match is confirmed for AEW Dynamite tonight. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with some developing stories. At the time of recording this video, we may now know who is going to be headlining the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025, and it's going to be none other than Paul Triple H Levesque. According to a report from PW Insider from Mike Johnson, he is reporting that PW Insider have been told that during a WWE town hall today for company employees, Triple H was surprised by Stephanie McMahon, The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels with the announcement. PW Insider were told Levesque was completely caught off guard and got very emotional. He also joked that he was going to kill WWE President Nick Khan. Levesque is already a WWE Hall of Fame member as a member of D-Generation X going back in 2019. This will make him a two-time inductee. Obviously, a WWE announcement will be forthcoming, but Triple H is the main event guy according to PW Insider this year. Of course, we get any more details on this developing story, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, it was a huge story, wasn't it? PCO smashing the TNA Digital Media Championship in a move resembling Alundra Blaze infamously tossing the Women's Championship into the trash live on WCW television. Wrestling veteran PCO recently destroyed the TNA Digital Media Championship during a GCW event, smashing it to pieces with a sledgehammer. Following the incident, PCO sat down for an interview with Fightful, where he explained why he seemingly burnt bridges with TNA. He said, quote, "The thing I wanted to make sure I clarified, I didn't want people to think, oh, PCO is mad," the veteran explained, before looking back to the history he has with WWE and how some people might think that the TNA/WWE partnership was why he parted ways with the promotion. Quote, "This time was different, much older, I had time to think," he added. "I surely didn't want this thing, me smashing the bout, to hurt my reputation with WWE, because it was nothing against them." PCO further noted, suggesting that his actions were not aimed at WWE either. When it comes to his next move, PCO claims he has several bookings lined up all over the world already, but that he still has two big dreams in wrestling he hasn't accomplished yet. Quote, "I'm just going for it, that's it," he said, but added he'll be keeping those dreams to himself for the time being. "I'd rather keep my energy for myself. I'm going to need a lot of energy, and I have to put a lot of efforts into it. It's not easy ones, it's big ones." Now, when it came to contract negotiations, PCO claimed that TNA went back on a verbal renewal agreement with the veteran, then went radio silent, which didn't sit right with him. Quote, "I'm like very old school, like a handshake. You give me your word, you look me in the eye, it's a done deal, you know, it's a promise," he explained. PCO further claimed that TNA initially wanted him to work less dates for the same money per date, which he countered with a deal of more dates for less money per date, wanting to remain active on television. "So we shook hands again, and that was the last time," end quote. PCO says that after suffering a concussion in December of 2024, he wasn't treated well by TNA management. Quote, "Nobody came with me, no assistance whatsoever, on my own. Put that on your credit card, we'll reimburse you. Like I know how much that's going to cost," he explained. PCO then recalled having a staph infection in 2022 and how TNA didn't help him financially at the time, so he didn't expect anything this time. The health concerns and soured negotiations seem to have compounded in the end, ultimately leading to PCO and TNA management reaching an impasse and explaining why the veteran felt like he needed to smash the title to make a statement while putting on a show. Now, we have the ratings for AEW Collision Homecoming this past weekend. Of course, it was in Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. It seemed like AEW Collision was finally in the clear this past weekend, with the NFL playoffs now officially off Saturday. As Lee Corso is known to say, however, not so fast, my friend. The NFL may be gone, but Collision was faced with two different but equally familiar foes, the NBA and WWE, which was airing the second Saturday night's main event special since reviving it last month. As such, the numbers for Collision were down. WrestleNomics reports that Saturday's show drew 250,000 viewers and a 0.07 in the 18 to 49 demo. The declines were steep week over week, with total viewership down 27% from 342,000, while the 18 to 49 fell 30% from a 0.10. The decline was similar across the 4-week average, with total viewership falling 27%, while the 18 to 49 was down slightly less, with 22%. Saturday's Collision was the lowest 18 to 49 since October 5th, 2024, while the total viewership was its lowest since December 14th, the last time Collision went up against Saturday night's main event. The WWE special drew 1.494 million viewers and a 0.33 on NBC, although even that show was no match for the NBA on ABC. That game, featuring the LA Lakers battling the Golden State Warriors, drew a robust 3.046 million and a 0.70 in the key demo. Now, given the competition, the low numbers will likely not faze AEW too much, especially since word has emerged that those within the promotion were very happy with how the show came off. Collision did in fact feature a strong main event, with Konosuke Takeshita defeating Katsuyori Shibata to retain the AEW International Championship in a spirited contest. The highlight for many, however, was the face-to-face confrontation between Mariah May and Toni Storm, where Storm reverted back to her timeless persona. Now, a bit of an update here when it comes to MVP and his in-ring status as an AEW star. After a 2.5-year absence, MVP put on his wrestling boots once again on primetime television, teaming with the Hurt Syndicate stablemates Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin to defeat Mark Briscoe and Private Party on AEW Dynamite Maximum Carnage 2 weeks ago. That, coupled with 2 independent appearances in the latter half of 2024, have some wondering whether this could signal a more permanent return to the ring for MVP, or if the AEW star would continue largely in his role as the Hurt Syndicate's mouthpiece. On Tuesday afternoon, he appeared to answer that question. Taking to Blue Sky, MVP revealed that he was planning to continue wrestling, but not full-time, instead opting to periodically get in the ring. The reason for that is because he wanted to remind certain people, who are referred to as pissants, that he could still be a threat in the ring, and while he was primarily the Hurt Syndicate's spokesperson now, sometimes that role required him speaking with his fists. So far, the dynamic of the Hurt Syndicate has been working out for all involved in AEW, with Shelton Benjamin having a strong comeback after feeling repressed in WWE, while Bobby Lashley entered the promotion picking up a massive singles victory over Swerve Strickland. The group's high point so far came this past Wednesday when Lashley and Benjamin defeated Private Party to become the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now, there's been a lot of confusion, hasn't there, recently about Britt Baker and her AEW status. Well, Jericho has addressed Britt Baker's future in AEW after the star was last seen on the November 13th, 2024 episode of Dynamite. Recently, it was reported by Wade Keller of PW Torch that AEW President Tony Khan was fed up with Britt Baker, but there also being noted that the former AEW Women's World Champion was wildly unpopular in the women's locker room. These assertions were challenged by the Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez, who stated that the claims were blown way out of proportion. Baker remains under contract with AEW and has about 1.5 years without injury time left on her deal, with Chris Jericho being positive about her on-screen return in a recent interview with Sports Illustrated's The Takedown, saying, quote, "I haven't really heard either way, but I know she's obviously a very valuable part of the company. She's one of the OGs, probably one of our first homegrown stars. I think she does a great job whenever she's in the ring, so I don't see her leaving or going anywhere. I'm looking forward to having her back on the show because she has a great character and great presence, and once again a great fan base within AEW and within the wrestling world." Now, speaking of women's wrestling, could we see a WWE Hall of Famer return this coming weekend for the Royal Rumble? Now, WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus reportedly has been discussed for the Women's Royal Rumble match at the PLE, which takes place on February 1st, 2025. Stratus was last seen at WWE Payback in September 2023, losing to Becky Lynch inside a steel cage. Now, during a recent Backstage Pass Q&A, WrestleVotes revealed that Stratus had been discussed for possible inclusion in the Rumble match, saying, quote, "I know it's been discussed. I know she will be in Indianapolis. I know WWE is bringing her in. I don't know specifically if it's for a Rumble appearance, but I know it's been discussed. There's only so many women's legends they can call in, especially those that can still do it, and she's one of them. So if she's willing and they're willing, I say better than a good shot that she's in there." Now, this could be quite a unique episode of NXT that could be coming up in the future. WWE is reportedly looking to host a TV taping from the theater in Madison Square Garden one day after another notable event. NXT has held tapings in a number of notable locations since the show's rebranding upon the premiere on the CW network. Per Mike Johnson of PW Insider, WWE is looking to host an NXT taping in New York City, with the proposed date being the March 11th date at the theater in Madison Square Garden. This would be one day after the WWE show on Netflix in Madison Square Garden, which has officially been announced for March 10th. The theater in Madison Square Garden is located beneath the main Madison Square Garden arena and can seat between 2,000 and 5,600 people. This venue, previously known as both the Felt Forum and the Paramount Theater, hosted an NXT live event in 2016. Now, many of you may be wondering, just why is the AEW World Championship being kept away in a briefcase? Well, since winning the AEW World title from Bryan Danielson at AEW Wrestle Dream, Jon Moxley has kept the title tucked away. First, it was in a black bag, but now it resides in a briefcase held by Marina Shafir. Speaking to Renee Paquette on Close Up, Moxley was asked why he doesn't carry the AEW World title. He said, quote, "Why do you need to see it? What do you need to see? You want to get a look at it and take a picture? This a petting zoo? Why do you need to see it? You don't know anything about it. You don't understand it at any level. You don't understand what a world championship means, what it's about, what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to climb a mountain. I am the AEW World Championship. I'm the living definition of that championship. You want to see it, it's right here." And he points to himself. Take a look at it. This is the AEW World Championship. It lives here. It's not something you win. It's not something you hold. It's not something you show off or you hold over your head or you pose a picture with. It lives here. And he points to Claudio Castagnoli's chest. It has to be cultivated, grown, forged in white-hot fires of combat and struggle. I'm trying to build 1,000 Jon Moxleys and backfill them behind me, so I'll put them through what I went through and worse. That might not be pretty, that might be ugly and uncomfortable, but that's the only way I know how to do it. That's the only way our generation knows how to do it. Struggle. You want to be the AEW World Champion, all you have to do is beat me, pin me. It's that easy. It takes 3 seconds. A very simple formula. How are any of you going to do that? Are you building an army right now? I am, every single day. I'm building an army. More than what you see here, much bigger than what you see here, much more powerful than what you see here. You're looking for answers. You don't even know what questions to ask. You can't see the board. You don't even know what effing game you're playing. Now, a bit of an update here when it comes to the AEW status of Rush and Dralistico. Now, heading into the fall, a faction Igobonable seemed reborn, with Rush leading Dralistico and the Beast Mortos into battle, and Jake Roberts himself, no stranger to Lucha Libre, serving as the group's mastermind. But since November, the group has been MIA, with Mortos working the Continental Classic on his own, Roberts disappearing, and reports emerging that Rush and Dralistico were in hot water for a post-match assault on a legitimately injured wrestler. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez received a fan question regarding whether Rush and Dralistico had been suspended by AEW due to that incident. Both Meltzer and Alvarez seemed to reach the same conclusion. They might be, but who can say for sure? Quote, "I don't think they were suspended, but they aren't being used now," Meltzer said, "so I guess you can say suspended. That is basically the way I heard it as well," Alvarez said. Quote, "I don't think it's an official suspension, but they're just not being used," Meltzer said. Dralistico is, I have no idea when he's going to be back, because it's not like they weren't doing anything with him anyway. I mean, Rush, at some point, they'll probably bring Rush back. I don't know. Now, the incident in question occurred on the November 15th episode of AEW Rampage, when Rush and Mortos defeated Alex Price and former MLW star Richard Holiday. In an unplanned spot following the match, Dralistico attacked Holiday, who, as noted, suffered a legit injury during the bout. It's believed this led to AEW changing plans around, with Rush and Mortos losing to the Acclaimed the next night on Collision, after originally being penciled in to win and be part of a four-way match for the AEW World Tag Team titles at Full Gear. And finally, a match has been confirmed for tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan has announced that Jay White will face AEW World Trios champion Wheeler Yuta in a singles match. The match was confirmed on social media by the AEW president. Of course, this joins the card of Jeff Jarrett versus Claudio Castagnoli. If Jarrett wins, he gets an AEW World title opportunity. Will Ospreay versus Brian Cage, an AEW TBS championship match with Mercedes Moné defending against Yuka Sakazaki. MJF scheduled to speak, and as well as this aforementioned Jay White match. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.